let's talk about why you may think backpacking is not for you. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Backpacking Adventures. I'm Dan. Today we're going to be talking about what may be holding you back from starting backpacking. Backpacking is like any other endeavor you do in the beginning. It's new to you. You may not know what to do or know much about it. In this day and age, you can get all the information you need, tutorials, how-tos, whatever you want online. It's all out there. Back in my day, we didn't have the YouTubes. We had to go places like the library and actually read a book or purchase something at a bookstore. And they also didn't have all that fancy lightweight ultralight gear like they do today, and it was not as easy to get. There wasn't many stores around that sold that type of thing. And I had to hike uphill both ways in my bare feet in the snow, and guess what? I was thankful for it. Now, what are some of the reasons you may think you're not ready for backpacking? For the most part, it comes down to one or more of these 5 reasons. No time, no gear, it's too expensive, it may be too hard for you to do, and you just don't know where to go. First, let's talk about time. Time is the biggest excuse everybody has. They may have a job, family, both, and if that's the case, it can be hard just to get the time to go on a backpacking trip. But it's like anything else. You have to make the time to do it. There's really not much more to say about that. If you really want to do it, like anything else, you'll find the time. Next is, you don't have any gear. So you don't have any gear and you don't know what gear you need. Do your research online, learn from other backpackers, look at backpacking channels. You'll find a million of them out there. It's really not that complicated. If you don't have any gear and you have a friend or somebody you know, a neighbor that backpacks, ask them to borrow their gear. But the one thing you don't want to do is watch a YouTube video on somebody's gear loadout and go run out and buy exactly what they have. It may not work for you. I have a video in my beginner backpacking series that goes over the types of gear that you're going to need to consider when you're starting backpacking. Next, you think the gear is expensive. Well, some of the gear is expensive, but with any sport or hobby, there is an expense in the beginning. Nothing is really free. Like I said before, try to find someone you know and just borrow the gear to try it out to see if you even like it. But when you finally get the gear you need and you have it all dialed in, you're not gonna really have to buy any more gear unless something breaks and you have to replace it. And if your budget's an issue, I did a video a couple months ago on an entire gear loadout on a budget, so you can check that out. Maybe it'll give you some ideas. Also, use what you already have at home. If you already have a sleeping bag, if you already have a fork, if you already have a spoon, you already have a pocket knife, you don't need to go out and buy anything new. You probably have a lot of the gear that you'll need to start backpacking already. Now, you may also think, wow, this is too hard and I am totally not in shape to do this. And you're right, it's not something that's totally easy to do. When you're backpacking, you're gonna be carrying weight on your back, you're gonna be going up hills, down hills, over rocks, over some trees, and it is a physical activity. It can be tiring. Sometimes it's gonna rain or even snow. It's gonna get cold, you're gonna get wet. There's a saying in the hiker community, and you'll probably hear it eventually, embrace the suck. Because you have to take the good with the bad. But with backpacking, there's certainly more good than bad. Because you can't always have a fair weather trip. If you're going on an overnight or multi-day trip, chances are at some point there's gonna be rain. And if time is one of your constraints where you can only get out at a certain time of year or a certain weekend out of a month or a year, there's no guarantee that it's just going to be sunny all the time. If you had to wait for the sun all the time, you would never go. But I can tell you through experience, backpacking in the rain in the summertime is its own experience. So just remember, you're going to get rained on and just embrace the suck. It can be challenging, but at the end of the day, when you get to those vistas or you get to your campsite, you're going to be feeling it's all worth it. So you think you're not in shape. Look, I can tell you, you don't have to be in top physical condition to go hiking or backpacking. Now, that's to say, check with your doctor first. I am not a doctor or a medical professional. You may think you need to be one of those skinny thru hikers that you see on all these videos. Well, you don't. Look at me. Do I look like I'm one of those skinny little thru hikers? I'm in shape, all right. I'm in the shape of a pear, but I still get out there, I still hike, and I've trained myself over time to hike those big miles. Do I do it to lose weight? No. If I lose weight, is that a benefit? Yes, of course it is. But my point is, I'm not really in shape, but I still enjoy hiking and backpacking, and so can you. And when you first start out, you don't start out doing all kinds of big miles and big long trips. You start out small, maybe even start out with a couple day hikes, increase your miles, put more weight on your back over time, and then in a couple weeks, you'll be able to do 10, 15 miles in a day. All right, so the next thing is, where do you go? You may not even know where to begin looking for where to hike. Well, again, go check out YouTube. Go on to Google search. They'll be able to find trails that are in your local area. There's a lot of apps, like All Trails is a great one. It'll tell you local trails in your area between 50 miles away, 10 miles away, and you can categorize it by all different kinds of criteria that you can pick a trail that would be best for you. But again, there's a lot of apps out there, a lot of resources, there's books. You just have to dig and try to find that information. You can also go to state parks. I mean, in Pennsylvania, I don't know how many state parks there are, but there's a ton of them. You can even go to a state park for your first time. Sure, it may be like car camping, but if you're nervous about going backpacking your first time, just drive up, take your gear out, set it up, and have a ball. Now, if you're new to backpacking, you have no idea where to begin, I created an entire beginner backpacking series with over 20 videos that will teach you from shelters to what gear you need, to how to hang your food bag, how to go to the bathroom. Everything will be in there. So check that out. It'll be a lot of good information for you. And really, look at me. If I can backpack, you certainly can too. Anybody can do it. So just get out there and backpack. So tell me in the comments below, what is holding you back from backpacking? If you like this video, make sure you subscribe, give it a thumbs up. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.